Mr. Speaker, Bermuda's economy continues to be dominated by international business and tourism. Additionally, we know that over the years, the trades have also undergirded steady growth in the economy. There are a variety of career paths in these sectors, and our responsibility as a government, as educators, and as a community is to equip our children with the tools to choose these careers that drive and sustain this economy. Honorable members and the public will note that the bill to be tabled today is specific in setting out some of these areas of instruction which our children will receive. Mr. Speaker, the cornerstone of this aspect of education reform will be to provide, for the first time, instruction for our children that directly correlates to the very careers that drive the economy in our country. We are determined that our children will not be spectators to the success of others, but will have a fighting chance to join top-level tertiary institutions and technical and vocational schools, where they will arrive already familiar with the careers and studies in these areas. Mr. Speaker, before coming into power, this government made an earnest promise to Bermuda and her people. This was reform public education by phasing out middle schools and introducing signature schools at the secondary level. Also, in the 2020 speech to the throne, the government indicated that it would advance a bill to give effect the necessary changes to the public school system. While these changes will eventually see our system move from a 3-tier to a 2-tier system, the ultimate objectives go far beyond the structural changes that we need. We will dramatically improve and transform the quality of education and lifetime opportunities for each and every young person in Bermuda. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is my greatest privilege as Minister of Education to table the Education Amendment Act 2021 later today. The bill brings to this House, for consideration of its members, the first legislative step in delivering the government's promise to phase out middle schools, introduce signature schools, and move from a 3-tier to a 2-tier public education system. In advance of the future debate on the bill, there are 3 main points I would like to emphasize for the legislature. Point 1. This government is serious about transforming public school education. This is demonstrated not only by our commitments, but by the delivery of those commitments, delivery with clarity, quality, fidelity, and perseverance. Point 2. We are serious about education because we value young people and Bermuda. As a country, we have failed our young people and have done so for generations. This failure precedes the advent of middle schools and is as old as the provision of education on this island. It was not, and it is not, good enough to provide quality education for some, but not to all. This is inequality. It was not good enough to label some schools as elite and some schools as bright. It was not good enough to make decisions that would send students on a path of no return based on results of a test taken at 11 years of age. Or to say a child can only do this or only do that based on our misperceptions of their abilities and potential. It was not good enough to undermine the success of students and schools who beat all expectations out of them. And it was not good enough to pretend that there was ever a thing such as separate but equal, because we have never had true equality across education in Bermuda. Never. And Mr. Speaker, point 3, the changes we are making are absolutely what we need in Bermuda for our young people, their families, our economy, and our entire society. We know that the world continues to change, but the pace and complexity of that change is only accelerating, and our education hasn't kept up. Our parents and grandparents likely got a job at a young age and kept that job or stayed in a particular industry for their entire career. Many of us have changed jobs a few times, and some of us have had major career changes, but this has not been the norm. Young people are not going to have 1 or 2 jobs that our parents had, or the few jobs that we had. They will have multiple jobs over their lifetime, not only by choice, but by necessity. Mr. Speaker, it is our obligation as a government to prepare our young people for the jobs of today and tomorrow. This requires us to teach and develop the body of skills and knowledge that are transferable across occupations going into the future. We will not only develop knowledge, but real-world application of knowledge and skills. We will not just focus on employment, but employability. We will do this for each and every senior school student. beginning September 2022, we will introduce the first 2 signature schools. Each senior school will have 1 or more signatures, referred to in the bill as signature learning programs. The selection, design, and future delivery of signatures will be based on global social, economic, and environmental trends that are shaping the workforce internationally and right here in Bermuda. These signatures will reflect career pathways for students and will be based on sectors of the economy with potential growth and sustainability, and clusters of skills essential to developing graduates with competencies that are and will be in demand in Bermuda. Mr. Speaker, we have already identified in the bill sectors of the economy upon which certain signatures will be based. These are tourism, finance, insurance, and the trades, pillars of our economy and community. These signatures reflect our past and present, and more critically, as evidenced by research and analysis, they are the future. Samples of the signatures that are skill-based include STEAM and entrepreneurialism. It is important to emphasize and make clear that while signatures are career-focused, this focus includes foundational skills such as creativity, communications, collaboration, problem-solving, and critical thinking, digital fluency, and social-emotional learning. Earlier about creating employability, but it recognizes that the skills and attributes of the graduates that we want to develop are the same as the kinds of young people and citizens we want to thrive and shape Bermuda's future. Mr. Speaker, although we have already determined 4 signatures, we will engage and consult our community in modern, progressive, and meaningful ways before decisions are made on additional signatures. Engagement has already occurred with the Department of Workforce Development, the Learning First design teams, and others. It will continue through this process and into the future. And in time, signatures will change and evolve as Bermuda and the world changes and evolves. In addition to introducing signature schools, the signature education, the bill will also begin the phasing out of middle school. It does this by moving M3 level to S1, for a simple change in age ranges for middle and senior school. This change will be effective for the introduction of signature schools in September 2022. Mr. Speaker, I would like to give reassurance to members of this House, students, and parents that there will be a choice of signatures. I've already mentioned many times before that education reform will be conducted in phases, and that we will inform, communicate, listen, and consider as we make the necessary changes for our education system. We understand the value and the importance of executing a sound transition process for staff and students as these changes are implemented. Therefore, a transition plan will be developed and communicated well in advance of these changes. Mr. Speaker, today is a momentous day for Bermuda. As a collective body of representatives for the people of Bermuda, we are delivering not only on our promise to reform public education, but we are providing a springboard for the collective aspirations of all young people in Bermuda. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to be relentless in our focus and efforts to ensure that we not only talk of change, but we deliver change as a moral, economic, and social imperative for all of the future of our young people and the future of Bermuda. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.